Hey everyone, if you're a fan of the original Fairy Tail anime, you're in for a treat because Fairy Tail Wizard Chronicle lets you take a magical adventure with all your favorite characters. From Natsu's fiery punches to Lucy's clever tactics, the game brings the whole guild to life. But let's be real, building the perfect team can be tricky with so many characters to choose from. That's why today we're breaking down the strongest characters and giving you the ultimate tier list. I'll walk you through who's worth leveling up, who can carry your team through the toughest battles, and who's just fun to play with. So sit back, relax, and let's figure out how to make the most powerful Fairy Tail squad together. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking characters in Fairy Tail Wizard Chronicle. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Sting Eucliffe and Kaina Alberona. You know those characters that make you go, why did I even summon you? Yeah, we're diving into that territory right now. First up, let's talk about Sting Eucliffe, our ranged pal who's trying really hard but, bless his heart, doesn't quite hit the mark every time. Now, Sting does have an area of effect attack every 9 seconds, which is actually kind of handy in the early stages of the game. You can wave your hands around and hit a bunch of enemies at once, pretty satisfying. But here's the kicker, his normal attacks love to miss, like they have a personal vendetta against you, and his special attack barely scratches the enemies. Sure, it boosts his critical rate, but when you're watching numbers that barely move, it feels more like a participation trophy than a real advantage. Oh, and if you're facing a boss, yeah, Sting suddenly turns into that friend who freezes during a group project. Next on the chopping block, we've got Kaina Alberona. She's ranged too, and honestly, she can throw a bit of chaos with her ultimate attack, which does some decent area of effect damage. That's her shining moment really. Outside of that, her special attack is basically decorative, it doesn't do much, and her passive is about as useful as a chocolate teapot. Her normal attacks are slow enough that enemies could take a coffee break before she even finishes swinging. And she is fragile, like one stray hit from a boss and you're crying in the corner. Fragile. So both of these characters are sort of like that party guest who shows up with good intentions but ends up just eating all the snacks and not helping at all. Sting has that early game flair with his area of effect attack, but then everything else falls flat, especially when the real challenges appear. Meanwhile, Kaina's ultimate is a brief moment of glory, but the rest of her kit is just, well, low and squishy. If you're not careful, you'll find yourself babysitting her instead of letting her shine. In short, D tier in Fairy Tail Wizard Chronicle is all about characters who try, but try in a very cute but ineffective way. They aren't terrible for starting out or just having fun, but if you're aiming to tackle the harder bosses and climb the ranks, you might want to give them a polite nod and then move on. Don't worry though, they still have their charm, and sometimes watching them fail spectacularly is half the entertainment anyway. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Hades and Elfman. Ever notice how some characters feel like they're trying their best, but you still wonder why you picked them? That's exactly the vibe with our first C-tier contender, Hades. He's a ranged unit, and his ultimate skill, the Amateur Cell 100th style, actually hits pretty hard and covers a decent area, which is great for clearing mobs, but then you try his normal and special attacks. And well, it's like watching a dramatic movie scene with no sound. You're expecting something big, but nothing happens. He doesn't really support the team either, so you're stuck hoping his ultimate will carry the load while he just sort of exists, leveling him up or awakening him. Don't get your hopes up, he doesn't really improve that much sadly. Then we have Elfman, our so-called defensive powerhouse. At first glance, he seems solid. Every attack he lands actually does decent damage, which is nice, but his tanking abilities are a little picky. They only activate when he takes a critical hit, which feels more like rolling the dice than having a reliable shield. And here's the kicker, he only boosts his own defense. So while he's patting himself on the back, your team is out there getting wrecked. Both of these characters are like that teammate who looks impressive in theory, but leaves you hanging when the real heat is on. Hades shines only in short bursts with his ultimate, but then disappears into meh territory the rest of the time. Elfman has some flashes of usefulness, but only for himself, which makes you feel like you're carrying 2 extra units instead of having real team synergy. In short, C tier is basically the okay but not great section of your roster. These characters can help in certain situations, but you won't want to rely on them for serious boss fights or high stakes PvP. Still, they aren't complete disasters. They have their moments, and sometimes it's just entertaining to see how much they can surprise you when used just right. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Grey Fullbuster, Laxus Dreyer, and Natsu Dragneel. You ever have that one friend who's reliable most of the time, but occasionally just disappoints you? Welcome to B tier, where the characters are decent, show some real skill, but still have their quirks. First up, let's talk about Grey Fullbuster. He's a ranged unit with solid damage output for a back row position, which makes him great for hitting enemies from a safe distance. But the real highlight, he can freeze enemies, completely stopping them in their tracks, and if he lands a critical hit, he can break down the enemy's defense. Sounds pretty sweet, right? Well, there's a catch, his attacks are slow. That's fine early on, but once you hit mid and late game content, Grey starts feeling like he's swimming through molasses. Next, we've got Laxus Dreyer, the melee powerhouse who really shines in critical hit based team sims. When he lands those crits, his damage spikes, making him feel like a proper glass breaking hurricane. Plus, he can paralyze targets for up to 7 seconds, which is awesome for controlling the battlefield. But, and this is a big but, his special attack and ultimate skill are completely dependent on RNG. And let's just say the RNG gods are not exactly fans of Laxus. Sometimes he'll destroy your enemies, and other times, well, you'll be staring at him like, really Laxus? This is what you're doing right now? Then we come to Natsu Dragneel, another melee fighter who loves showing off. His special attack boosts his critical rate, giving him some solid offensive potential, and his ultimate attack hits multiple enemies with area of effect damage while also inflicting burn. It's flashy, it's destructive, it's the kind of thing that makes you feel like a dragon slayer, but there's a downside. His attack speed is slow, which drags down his overall damage per second. And his ultimate? Yeah, it hits hard, but the cooldown is painfully high, so you can't spam it whenever you want. So, what's the common theme here? B tier characters are all about moments of glory mixed with periods of please just work. Grey can freeze enemies and crush defenses, but slowly. Laxus can paralyze and dish out insane crit damage, but only if the RNG smiles upon him. And Natsu is flashy with burns and AoE, but he's slow and takes his sweet time between ultimates. They all have that sometimes amazing, sometimes meh energy. Despite their flaws, B tier characters are not bad, they just require a bit of strategy and timing to shine. Use Grey for controlling the battlefield, Laxus for critical hit heavy setups, and Natsu when you want those fiery explosions on multiple enemies. If you play to their strengths, they can hold their own in most fights. They're reliable in the right hands, just don't expect them to carry every match alone. At the end of the day, B tier is like the dependable middle child of your roster. They're not the star, they're not the comic relief, but they're steady and can surprise you when you least expect it. If you want flashy wins with some brain power behind it, these three have your back. But remember, patience is key because they don't always move at the speed you want. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Makarov Dreyer and Irene Belsarion. You know that friend who's always prepared, the one who quietly makes everything better without stealing the spotlight? That's a tier for you. Let's start with Makarov Dreyer, the ultimate defense machine. This guy is a tank in every sense of the word. He provides defense boost and critical resistance boost to all skill type allies, which basically turns your team into a fortress. But the real showstopper? His ultimate skill. Makarov transforms into a giant, becomes completely invincible, and pulls all incoming attacks toward himself. It's like having a walking, indestructible shield that screams, "Not today, enemies!" Then we have Irene Belsarion, the versatile powerhouse who keeps things interesting. She's ranged so she can dish out damage from a distance, but she also brings support to the table. Critical hits with Irene buff, ally attack and critical rate, reduces enemy critical defense, and can even inflict burn for 5 seconds. She's the kind of character that fits into every game mode, making her your Swiss army knife of destruction and support. The only catch? While Irene is strong and super useful, she's not quite at the carry the entire team level like the S tier legends. She's amazing at enhancing your team's potential and controlling fights, but if you're looking for someone to single-handedly dominate a boss battle, she might ask for a little backup. So, in short, a tier characters are your reliable heavy hitters and support stars. Makarov keeps everyone alive and soaks up damage like a champ, while Irene boosts your team and weakens enemies at the same time. They're not the absolute top dogs, but they make your team feel significantly stronger and way more fun to play. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Grey Devil Slayer, Natsu Dragon Force, Wendy Marvell, and Urza Heavenly Wheel Armor. Finally. The cream of the crop, the legends, the characters that make you go, yep, this is why I keep summoning. Welcome to S tier, where every unit feels like they were designed to make your enemies cry. First up, Natsu Dragon Force. This range powerhouse doesn't mess around. His normal attacks hit insanely hard, and if he inflicts burn, you're looking at damage over time that keeps ticking for 3 whole seconds. His special attack? Even better against enemies already on fire, stacking extra damage like a fiery bonus round. And then there's his ultimate skill, area of effect damage plus burn for up to 10 seconds on multiple enemies. Basically, if Natsu shows up, expect the battlefield to look like a barbecue gone wild. Next, let's talk Wendy Marvell, the ultimate heal and support unit. Honestly, if your team has Wendy, half your problems just vanish. Every time her normal attack hits, she heals the ally with the lowest HP, so even if your tank is taking a beating, Wendy's got their back. Her special attack, Divine Knight, buffs both attack and critical rate for 7 seconds, making your team even more deadly. And her ultimate skill charges super fast, so every 10 seconds you're healing all allies and keeping the team alive in the thick of chaos. She's basically a walking, flying safety net with a side of badass magic. Then there's Grey Ice Demon Slayer, whose second form is just unfair. Every normal attack has a chance to freeze enemies, and if they're frozen, boom, massive damage incoming. His ultimate skill can freeze enemies for up to 10 seconds, which basically turns boss fights into a controlled slide on ice. Seriously, if you bring Grey, the battlefield practically becomes your playground. Freeze, smack, repeat, it's satisfying chaos at its finest. And we can't forget Urza Heavenly Wheel Armor, the ultimate hybrid of tank and damage dealer. This girl doesn't just absorb hits, her normal attacks are fast and pack a punch, contributing serious DPS while she's holding the line. Her special attacks can one-shot bosses with a critical hit, and her ultimate skill deals massive damage while boosting her own critical chance. She's the perfect mix of durability and devastation. Basically, you want her front and center while your enemies wonder what hit them. What's really amazing about S tier is how each character brings a different kind of dominance to the table. Natsu burns everything down with overwhelming damage, Wendy keeps everyone alive and buffs the team, Grey freezes and shatters enemies like a pro, and Urza, well, she's doing a little bit of everything while looking cool doing it. Each one has moments that make you feel like a tactical genius just by having them on your side. Using them together, oh, that's where the magic happens. Imagine Natsu burning a group of enemies while Grey freezes the unlucky ones who survive, Wendy keeping everyone topped off, and Urza just shredding through anything that gets in the way. It's chaos, it's beauty, and it's exactly what makes S tier feel like playing with cheat codes turned on. Of course, S tier isn't just about raw power, it's about consistency, reliability, and synergy. These characters shine in every game mode, from PvE battles to high-stakes boss fights. No matter the challenge, you can count on them to perform at the top level, unlike those lower-tier units that occasionally let you down. They're the true backbone of any serious roster, so in short, S tier is where legends live. They deal massive damage, control the battlefield, support the team, and look amazing doing it. If you're aiming to dominate Fairy Tail Wizard Chronicle, these are the units you summon, level, and cherish. Because let's face it, once you've used Natsu, Wendy, Grey, and Urza together, every other character suddenly feels like they need to step up their game. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Lucy, Leo Form. Hold on to your wands because we've reached S+ tier, the absolute best of the best. Enter Lucy Leo Form, the melee powerhouse who doesn't just hit hard, she redefines damage per second. Her normal attacks are the highest DPS in the entire game, meaning enemies barely have time to blink before they're on fire. But she's not selfish. Just by being on the field, Lucy boosts the attack power and critical rate of all her allies, making your entire team feel unstoppable. And then there's her ultimate skill, which is nothing short of legendary. It's one of the strongest area of effect attacks in the game, capable of hitting multiple enemies at once and inflicting darkness for 5 whole seconds. During that time, her enemies are basically useless, giving your team free reign to crush everything in sight. Lucy, Leo Form isn't just strong, she's a game changer, and if you get her on your team, you can basically consider the battlefield your personal playground. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.